Hi, welcome back to the Top Not Strong channel. I'm Sarah, your competition prep coach and suit designer, and today we're talking about the wonderful topic of how to prep without burnout. Because obviously, at the end of the day, a lot of people may not make it to the stage because of burnout and going through that whole prep process, but I'm going to show you exactly what we do to help prevent that. Let's be honest, burnout is very common amongst competitors, and that's why you'll see some, if you've been following anyone, they'll compete once and they'll be done and they'll say it's X, Y, and Z, or they'll never even make it to the stage because of the prep process and they've burnt themselves out so much that they physically can't or mentally can't, right? So you probably have seen it, where competitors who have crash dieted, they've done hours and hours and hours of cardio, they're hormonally just wrecked from the process because they've pushed to the point where they didn't prioritize other things and maybe didn't have a coach who actually understood the process or took that into account as well. And they're just completely over it. So Top Not Strong, we're not about that here. So I do want to share, what we do in the process, but also it's not about just the trophy, right? It's who you become in the process and, your confidence that you build throughout the process as well. We don't want to leave our athletes completely defeated and to the point where they don't even step on stage. So let's get into it. So how do we build champions without burnout here at Top Not Strong? First, we start with the health markers, right? So how is your stress? How is your sleep? How are your hormones? How are you feeling, right? That also plays a big factor in your cycle of health and adjusting, calories and cardio within that process. So we really focus on your health markers first and make sure those are under control before even going through a prep, right? The second thing is that we train smarter. So we're not just, adding tons and tons of cardio to your plan, right? We're really focusing on what you need to step on stage, and that's custom to you, right? So we're going to focus on progressive overload. We're going to focus on mobility, recovery days, and not just endless amounts of cardio. The third thing is that we are personalizing everything to you. So every athlete is going to have a different timeline for them to step on stage. And if you're a first-time competitor, you may need 9 to 12 months before stepping on stage. And so the sooner that you work with a coach, the easier it is for your coach to, one, know how your body responds to different training protocols and nutrition, and two, we help to build that foundational work. And then the fourth thing that we do is we coach the mindset. So obviously at the end of the day, training and nutrition can sometimes be the easier parts of competing once you have that down and you've built that habit. But the harder thing is mentally staying on track and also the posing and going through the ebbs and flows of prep, right? So we also focus heavily on mindset because at the end of the day, if you have a strong mindset, you're going to have a stronger prep overall. So we set realistic expectations at the beginning, and we also work on body confidence prior to stepping on stage. So what do you do during your prep in order to avoid burnout? Like I've mentioned, your health markers really come into play if you're overly stressed, if you're really tired, if you are pushing yourself so much that you're not even taking recovery into account. That's where you start, right? So you might need more recovery time. You might need to lessen your cardio. You might need to, not keep cutting your carbs back or your calories, depending on who you are, and really focus on getting your health markers back in line, right? So if you are completely burned out and you haven't been taking some of those other health markers into account, that is where you start. And if you are working with a coach, then you need to have a conversation with them, right? But here at Top Notch Strong, this is what we do differently, right? So when we take into account, we are building a plan around you. So if we have clients who are really busy with work and maybe they have a really stressful time, or whatever the case may be. Maybe they're needing to manage their stress better, then we're going to focus on that, like ways that we can help manage stress. Or maybe we need more recovery time, mobility work, and flexibility and things like that. We're going to take extra recovery time because each client is really different. So it's hard for me to say what you need. But if you are starting to feel the effects of burning out, then this is where I would start. Work on stress management, work on getting your 8 hours of sleep if you're not, and give yourself more recovery time, right? Because at the end of the day, it is not just about go, go, go. Your body can only go and push so much at a time. And if you're not also recovering and, resting, and you're just always on the go, your body is going to tell you and make that choice for you, right? So we do it different. We combine your custom nutrition and training plan so that we are prioritizing those things with our weekly feedback and adjustments based on your progress and your adherence to your plan, right? You're never just given a plan and left alone in that process. And whether it's, peak week, reverse dieting, or during the prep process, we're never just going to leave you alone. Our weekly feedback and check-ins are really for accountability and support in the process as well. But you can't build a champion physique without also taking into account of those things as well. Even your pro athletes are going to take the recovery part of their training very seriously because they know if they push and they don't take the time to recover, it can cause injury, it can cause burnout, and it can cause you to not step on stage for the show that you had planned. So take it very seriously. So what makes our coaching different? So first things first is that we combine custom training and nutrition and giving you weekly feedback and adjustments as you need to for your plan and based on your progress and how you are feeling on those health markers, right? So we never just give you a plan and leave you alone. We are there for you every step of the way. And so that means we keep you accountable with our weekly check-ins, but also it's our chance to connect and really understand what's going on, what needs changed, and make those changes as needed throughout the process, right? So you may need changes every week, you may not. It really just depends on, again, your progress and how you are feeling and how close to a show that you are. Because you can't build a champion physique on burnout, right? So we really have to focus on a lot of those areas to make sure that we prevent the burnout as much as possible. Like I said, it'll still be challenging, but we do try to really focus on making sure that you do not burn out in the process. And, you being open and honest with us helps us to really do that through our check-ins. And with all of those things combined, because we do really focus on, your health markers and making sure that your plan is custom to you and making sure that you don't burn out in the process. We've had clients go on to earn their IFBB Pro card and their OCB Pro card with us, and they've really enjoyed the process and being able to, one, have a plan that they can stick to because we are taking those health markers and burnout seriously when it comes to their prep and prepping for a show in the process. So if you are ready to step on stage and prep for the stage in a healthy way without losing your spark in the process, go ahead and apply for our coaching or take our quiz for how ready you are to compete and kind of see what your prep timeline would look like for you based on where you're currently at in the process. And of course, if you found this helpful, go ahead and subscribe. We're going to have more videos here coming soon, and share it with someone else who might need this little video to help them along the way.